chair for. I've been sitting in the same chair for. I literally think I've had this chair for 15 years.
Yeah, well, my chair is a broken folding chair.
Well, that's a different thing. But I had the same office chair for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I feel bad. But what I'm trying to say is my chair sucks as well.
I think you just need to shove it up your ass.
Oh, good thing we're streaming. Okay. Well, here we are. So what do you think? The new thing looks nice, huh? Switcher section. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know if the chat's working because nobody's talked in the chat yet, but we'll see.
Well, it's only you and me watching.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But here we are. Bro, here we are. So, SWTOR, I was going to look at something. I think we're good there. Do you want to talk about, I want to talk about Anthem really quickly, but we don't have to do, well, the EA thing is interesting. Did you look at any of that? You see any of that stuff
Any of the
pop
what?
up? The EA issues? The stocks dropping and all that stuff?
No, I mean I've just been hearing everybody bitch about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bitching. Oh boy, is there a lot of bitching. A lot of bitching everywhere, dude. This is the world we live in, my friend. The world
I know,
we
right?
live in. So, all right, buddy. Well, shall we? You can't hear the bumpers if I play them, right? On your end?
I don't think we've tried.
Can you hear this?
No.
Good. Okay, you can't. All right, that's fine. I won't even bother. All right, ready?
Yeah, I guess. Jeez, let's get it over with.
So it's aggressive. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 153 of the Usual Podcast, a podcast where we discuss Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me, as always, from the Midwest that is not as cold as it was, my co-host, Will. What's up, buddy?
853.
English, please?
I think I mixed up 3 languages there to say 153.
I think you did, too. But that's all right. And we're just sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What you drinking, dude?
I was actually going to drink a Bud Light tonight, but my back's been hurting, so I took some pain meds, and so I'm drinking a soda, Diet Pepsi.
But a Bud Light, dude, would have been in honor of one of the trailers we watched during
Yeah, I know
trailer time.
That's why I was going to do it, but no.
You blew it. That trailer was amazing, by the way. The one with the Bud Light, the Knights, and the and then Game of Thrones and the mountain.
It was fantastic.
Dragon. Oh, brings me so much joy. Anyway, I am drinking the Bay. It's a double IPA from Calicraft Brewing Company, and it's got one of those labels that's super, just like I guess Spartan is the way to say it, just super, just basic. It's pretty nice, dude. I like it. I think I've had it before on the show, but you know, we've had a lot of episodes and it all runs together. So here we are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that a bear?
It's a little bear. It's a little bear holding hops. Bear with the hops. Look how cute he is.
You're a bear with the hops.
Indeed. So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we are on Facebook, Spotify, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at Imro Griggs. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and Plex, so give us a time. Rate us, like us, and share us with your friends if you could. Teespring.com/store/usual podcast is another way to support the show. We'll talk about more at the end. We do have the timestamps in the show notes if you're not a SWTOR fan and if you're not watching live. But thanks to everybody who is in the chat room, of course, and we'll do our best to keep an eye on that. We had our trailer time. Let's talk about our drinking buddies. Of course, Zen, Eddie, and Mr. John Skeen, who we should get on the show in the next time or two, for sure.
Nice.
And I'll have more about that towards the end of the show, for sure, my friend. So, anything else we need to talk about at the top of the show? Changes, likes, not likes, things? How's life going?
It's
Good God.
well, it's late here. Well, it's not late. It's about 11 o'clock here right now. But I'm.
I do keep forgetting about that, by the way, and I feel bad about that. But
no, it's fine. I mean, you know me. I'm a night owl, anyways. But my sleep patterns are all off. I'm seriously sleeping like an hour and a half to 2 hours a night, and then all of a sudden I'm like sitting on my sister's couch and I like fall asleep for 4 hours.
Yeah, well, that's You gotta get a handle on that, buddy.
Yeah, I really do.
I think you're doing a lot of yawning on the mic right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm just tired all the time now.
That's all right. I'm tired for other reasons, but that's just what I call the things I do.
It's what we call a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. It's a day that ends in Y, as I like to say. All right, buddy. So should we get to Star Wars: The Old Republic since we haven't talked about that in a while?
I know, right? Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So what have you been doing in game, dude?
Well, I just got a new tower. I mean, it's nothing really big. It's really not all that fast, but it's something that I can upgrade here, relatively easily.
Good.
But for those of you who've been, listening for the last couple of years, like a year and a half ago, my tower went out, and then I lost the operating system off of it. It just, wiped and everything. So it's, so anyway, so I've got a new tower, and sorry, I'm actually downloading the game as we speak right now. I'm at like 31%.
Nice.
So, but and that I did play a little bit earlier this week. I'm doing some crew skills and crafting, but it's mostly sending them out on missions that gain influence with the companion. So yeah, so it's a way of just getting influence without actually doing anything. So I did that. I did some dailies mostly on Ossus, and then because I'm trying to do the because I'm doing some achievement hunting, so I'm working through the the grinding achievements on Ossus, kill so many of the mutated Geonosians and so much of the scrambled droids and all this stuff, so many pubs, and so I'm working on that. And then I went over to Belsavis, and it's so funny, all my location based achievements are done except for the PvP stuff where you have to kill I'm really sorry. Where you have to go and kill 10 opponents on a planet or something like that, right? But on Belsavis, I still had to kill another 200 Imperials with a pub tune.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So I just jumped on my pub tune and went and just circled around this one area as they respawned, and I knocked that out in like an hour. So
nice, dude.
Yeah, so that's my last achievement on there besides the killing of the PvP opponents in the world boss.
Nice. So it's been we've been recording every other week now, and last what was it before we recorded? We recorded last time, and I was talking about how the Anthem VIP demo was
right.
Coming.
You've been playing that, yeah.
I played that the first weekend, and I actually had a really fun time. I was playing with Redna and Elise. And obviously that kind of brought back my What's an Ops group days, and I really need to get that together, and I keep forgetting. But we really need to get back. But it was fun gaming with those guys. There was a lot of bugs, some loading issues, and some other issues. But I actually really found the game very fun. You would hate it, but I found the game I found the game super fun. It's kind of like being able to fly around and be in a BioWare game. There was something kind of neat about that. It's not as story heavy as I would like, but then again, it was just a demo. But I literally was like, okay, I really want to play. The open demo was this past weekend. We're recording this on a Tuesday, right? And with the Super Bowl and some other stuff going on, I actually did not get into the game, and it was kind of a bummer. So the game's coming out at the end of the month. I have my Origin Access is how I did it. So it's $15 a month.
Right.
$15 a month, and you get access to a whole bunch of games. So I'm going to play it when it comes out and see how it goes, and I'll kind of go from there. I'm going to pay for it for one more month at least so I can check it out. So, but that's
cool.
Where I'm at. I do plan to get to back to SWTOR in the next week or two, but like I said, I've been just swamped. Golf season starting. It's just getting kind of gnarly. So I'm doing my darndest to stay on top of all the things. And my writing schedule, and trying to keep up with that. So like I said, man, I'm all over the place, but I really am trying to make time for gaming. But sometimes all I can do is just play 3 turns of Civ 6 before I fall asleep at my computer. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I just this is my first season in 4 years where I haven't been a track coach.
Right.
So track season started yesterday, and so I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there are, it's been cold here. It's been gnarly here, so we wouldn't probably be going to the course anyway. So next week we're gonna try to get the kids out once my assistant coach can drive, because we have a lot of signups this year. We got about 20 people signed up, so we got to be able to get them all down to the course too. So, but yeah, man.
From what I hear, from what I hear, the track team's got 94 people on it.
Yeah, it's gnarly. I guess almost half the school, almost half of Fort Bragg High School is doing spring sports this year. So it's a big turnout. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, buddy.
Only a quarter of them are on the track team.
yeah, probably more than that, but that's okay. All right, so here we are. News. We haven't done this in a while. Shoot.
Yeah, news. What do we got?
We got a few things. Eric Musco. This was towards the end of last month after we recorded last. He said a quick heads up for the Master Mode Raiders out there. The 3 achievements tied to the Master Mode Gods of the Machine are not tracking properly. So when completed, they'll show as being earned as when you relog. So it's defeating Isaac's 8-player, 16, and Doom's Delay, which is the timed run achievement. I couldn't imagine doing any of this stuff, but they're trying to fix it all in 5.10.1. So patience as always with these things, right?
Right.
Speaking of the PTS with 5.10.1, there was a bunch of patch notes on this on the 24th, which I definitely will not go all the way through. But it's a refresh of the PTS. They're testing out the Hive of the Mountain Queen. So there's a bunch of changes and stuff in there. I have not got a chance to check that out yet, so I'm not going to go through it all. But I'm actually excited to check that out. And that I'm toying with the idea of making that be our very last What's an Ops Group run, is doing that when it comes out. So that might be a nice way to get everybody back together. So thoughts on that? What do you
Sounds
think?
like a plan, Stan.
Be fun, right?
Yeah, like you know me, I'm not much of a raider, so but one of our patrons who I am actually living closer to now, it's actually my sister's wife. She raids every Saturday night she does WoW. And so I keep trying to see if she wants to get back into SWTOR at all, but she's just busy with WoW, and that's her. She's part of a guild there, and
yeah, we have all of our things, man. But it'd be nice to, I mean, it's interesting though, because you're right. I mean, some people would be nice. We know a lot of people that have left the game and they're coming back. They're playing ESO. They might come back and that kind of thing. But it'd be nice to get some new folks in and see what they think at this late in the stage of the game after all these updates, right?
Right. Give me a second. I have to go blow my nose.
Nope. Okay, go. Oh, I should make a thing that says, okay. You just reminded me to make a thing that said we'll be right back. Just in case we have to do that.
Nice.
So I did that. All right, man. What else do we got here? Let's see. On the 25th, what was this about? I forgot. Oh, there was a maintenance. And so some people get upset when there's a long maintenance. And so basically what they're doing over the last couple of months that Eric put this out, they'll be doing a variety of hardware upgrades on the data centers. So the extended maintenance, like last week's, are specifically for when they're replacing critical hardware. So they're trying to minimize long hours, but sometimes that happens.
And sorry, we just got to deal with it, because that's going to just, I mean, because look at it this way, 2 things. One, newer hardware and hardware upgrades are going to do nothing but increase stability in the game longer term. But it also means if they're willing to upgrade the hardware, that means that they're still technically putting money into the game. They're not going to be replacing hardware systems if they're going to be getting rid of the game anytime soon.
Exactly. And I think that's what people forget. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't play the game exactly when I wanted to. And I get that. But at the same time, we got to make sure that they're, if they are planning to keep this game around for a long time, that, we're patient with them.
Yeah, they got to do it.
All right, man. So season 9 has ended. with SWTOR PvP. And Eric says wait, hold on. No, I got this wrong. Sorry. Eric Musco said season 8 tickets will be converted. Oh, sorry. So somebody posted season 9 has ended and I still have season 8 tokens. Are they getting converted and what should I do with them? So Eric says season 8 tokens will be converted to credits at the same time that season 9 tokens receive that conversion. And this is going to happen in the future update after 5.10.1. So that's important. And then roadmap. This just came out today. And I'm bringing this up because this has come up in some of our circles as well. And they said, okay, are we getting a roadmap anytime soon? And Eric said, and literally, like I said, oh no, not today, yesterday. He said, right now, I don't believe there are any plans for a formal roadmap in the coming weeks. To calm any concerns, that isn't because there isn't stuff happening this year, but that we've been making an effort to give you more visibility into content sooner via PTS. With that in mind, here are some details. 5.10.1 is on the PTS now, which obviously everybody knows. And
right.
that will come out in the next couple of weeks, and more timing on that this week. Okay. 5.10.1 is out the door. Look for details on 5.10.2 going to the PTS. So I like that they're doing that.
Right.
Well, one last thing. He says we're still locking down details, so I can't announce anything yet. But we'll fully intend to be at Star Wars Celebration this year, which seems like a great place to reveal more details. So they're kind of saying more stuff's coming. We're not ready to say it yet, but also we're doing the PTS thing like everybody's been telling us to do forever.
Yeah, speaking of Star Wars Celebrations, really quick, make sure you go over and follow SWTORista.
Yes.
And because she's heading up all of the
SWTOR fan booth thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So please go and support that.
Definitely do that. All right. So any thoughts on this roadmap thing?
You mean this no roadmap?
Well, yeah, the lack of.
Yeah, no, again, the longer a game goes on, the less they're going to put into the day-to-day communication stuff. But I do like that they're being more transparent in the PTS type stuff, even though it doesn't really apply to me. I'm a fairly casual gamer, so right. For me, anything new is good, so it's all good.
Well, what's kind of funny, man, is when I first got into this community, man, it was moment to moment, day to day. I was watching every Twitter feed. I was writing for Tour Wars. I mean, we had to report on every single thing, and there was multiple things coming out per day, right? The fact that they're still even communicating with us 7 years later is, I think, a huge testament to what they're trying to do for this game and keep it going. And the community is great. And granted, we don't get a roadmap as consistently as we want or get what we think we should get as often as we want. But that said, this community has been around a very long time, and there's a lot of people that are very dedicated to it. And I'm glad it's still happening. So anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've never played WoW, but I mean, do they still have this sort of contact with the Blizzard community management?
I'm not sure, honestly. I imagine there's something similar. I mean, Anthem has the same thing. I see them on Twitter and stuff. So, but again, Anthem's early on. WoW's been over 15 years, right? I mean, it's been around forever.
Yeah, been around for a while.
So I don't know, man. I like to think that people are getting the communication they want out of the communities they're in, but for our community, I mean, Musco's been diligent, and they have, some other help in the community team. And I just think it's good. They're still going to Celebration and that kind of thing. So I think we just got to realize the game is older, but it's the community is what you put into it and what you kind of expect from it too. So anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I feel like I'm ranting a lot today, but here we are. It's been a while. So do you want to
make a joke, but no, it's all right.
It's okay. So do you want to do this Anthem EA thing, or you want to skip that?
Well, do you think our fan base would be interested in it?
Possibly.
Well, then go off on it. Go.
Well, I mean, so real quick, some of our friends were sharing some links with some of the stocks and stuff with EA, and there's one that says. So basically, there's this issue with Belgian loot boxes. In Belgium, they're basically saying, like, okay, this is gambling and we're outlawing it. So that's an issue with the loot box system they have in the FIFA series and stuff, for example, right? This card system.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I
right?
gotcha.
So there's some fear that it might leak over into the U.S. And let me get a statistic out of here that will kind of make your brain explode. Let me get the number, the amount of money they have made. They have made. Is it in this article? I don't know. Just from FIFA. Let me open this one. It's like $900 million or something ridiculous. Let me see.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Um,
Well, the annual FIFA game is one of EA's biggest titles. So.
Right. But the thing is, the stocks have gone down 25% since 2018. In 2018, and I think there is some fear there as well for this. But let me find. It's FIFA 19. Where is it? Damn number I want. Okay, so check this out. Throughout 2018, there were questions about whether mega popular battle royale games were taking away from companies like EA and Activision and Blizzard, right? So, like,
Right.
basically Fortnite. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
After hitting an all-time high of 151.26 last summer, $151.26 last summer, EA shares finished down 24.9%. Okay. And then it says, let's see, fiscal 2019 management. I'm trying to find this damn number I want, but I can't find it. But the amount of money they make from just FIFA titles alone and their loot box system is insane. And I think this has to do with Blizzard Belgium taking this down, and I can't find my numbers now, and now I'm bummed.
Well, the thing to remember about the 25% down is that the stock market itself as a whole was fairly volatile in 2018.
True.
So the overall economy could be impacting part of that number. I mean, it's not going to account for all 25%, but that's definitely going to impact some of it. Plus, whenever there is fear in an economic crisis, one of the first things to drop off is entertainment. So that could be another thing if there is any economic fear out there.
Right.
And I
was getting caught up on the number, but honestly, like, if they're saying, so EA is basically saying they say it is not a form of gambling, but there are segments of the world that are saying that it is, and so there's lawsuits, there's all kinds of stuff going on, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on this stuff for sure.
Well, it depends, because it's frustrating because it could be considered a form of gambling because I'm guessing what it is you buy a product and there's different odds depending on what you get within the product. Right. And we don't consider that gambling here, but I mean it basically is. But that's the same thing we get when you buy a pack of baseball cards or when you buy a pack of Magic cards, and that's the thing is it's just randomness. But and
I think people are getting upset because there's some people spending a lot of money on this kind of stuff to get these cards.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. It says, yeah, so EA or Electronic Arts is a large game developer, blah blah. There's a market cap of $28 billion, second largest US game developer after Activision. So I don't know, man. It would really hurt them if country after country determines that, and these companies. I mean, FIFA is a huge title for them, and it goes all over the world.
It is. The thing is I don't think worldwide this is going to have a huge issue. The only thing I think it's going to do is if there's a country in the EU that does it, then the whole EU might do it.
Right.
So, and that's a big market for FIFA because soccer is the biggest sport in Europe, but it's not going to come over to here. It's not going to really impact Asia at all. It really won't do any of that. So the worldwide, impact of it won't be felt as much. It would just be more regional to the European Union, I would guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. But like I said, when stocks start to fall, people start to panic.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress about it long run.
Sounds good. Star Wars
section. Pew pew pew
pew pew time. Oh, I did too. So discussion topics, dude. I got a couple things in here.
Okay.
Solo: A Star Wars Story is getting an Oscar nomination. How do you feel
And
about
Oscar nomination.
that? And I said,
It's actually, it's good that it did.
uh,
Um,
it's for what, visual effects, I think.
yeah, something
visual
like
effects. Yeah, visual effects.
that. There's the one. All right, let's see.
I wanted to
The
put
thing
this at the
is,
top of it because I know you like your Oscar stuff.
I do. The thing is there's mostly 4 categories that Star Wars films normally get nominated for, right? Visual effects, sound effects, sound effects, sound editing, and sound mixing.
Right.
Usually, and then occasionally they get John Williams or whoever's doing it will get nominated for, or John Williams, yeah, will get nominated for the score.
Yeah.
Okay. I think if John Williams had done the score first, even if it was the same exact score, if it had been John Williams, he probably would have gotten the nomination.
True
just because of the name.
Right.
But this is I believe the first Star Wars movie he hasn't done. Because I think he did do Rogue One.
Yeah, he did Rogue One, I think.
And we already know that the episode 9 is going to be his last one.
Right.
That he'll be doing. But the thing is like there were so many other more movies that were worthy of those nominations. I mean, one of them was Avengers: Infinity War, and then Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just have ILM and Skywalker Sound as being the the ultimate in the field. Like Pixar's up there, and plus Skywalker Sound and ILM do it for Marvel movies too. So
true.
I'm really not too worried about it. Plus, I mean, like even when Star Wars do get the nominations, like for the Phantom Menace, it got all 4 of those nominations and it lost all 4 to the Matrix.
Right.
So the nominations are important, but I'm not too worried about it with this one. Yeah, I'm just not.
So you think they're just not? They're not going to win it?
Oh no, they're not going to win it. But I think it's good that they got the nomination because this one got panned so much that this just shows that it's still technically a very well done movie.
Yeah. Even though it didn't do box office numbers like they wanted, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so there's a bunch of guests announced for Star Wars Celebration, speaking of, including the voices of Boba Fett and Ahsoka Tano. Which, of course, is Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. I really wish I could go to Star Wars Celebration. I mean, I'm fairly close, but I just can't afford everything that goes along with it.
No, I hear you, man. So a bunch of confirmed attendees: Jet Lucas, who played Padawan Zett, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, people, the guy who portrayed Admiral Satura, in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. There's all kinds of people that are going to be there. Man, it's what's insane about this is we do, we go to Comic-Con, right? And that's
right.
And that's one thing. But to go to a convention that's solely Star Wars, it makes sense to have voice actors for all these amazing animated shows that they've done be there. So I love that's happening, and I wish I could be there.
Yeah, I really wish I could go too.
But Ashley Eckstein obviously it makes sense for her to be there because of her universe and stuff as well. So.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, man. Ton of episode 9. Well, I say a ton, but not really. The last thing I have in here is no episode 9 trailer, which a lot of people thought was going to happen during the Super Bowl.
Nope. Didn't think it was happening.
And you didn't think it was happening?
No.
So we talked about this some odd weeks ago. When do you think it is going to happen? Because it has to happen.
I honestly think they're going to hold off on a little bit, and I think it'll probably get...
you think it'll be Star Wars Celebration, probably?
We'll either get a soft release to online right around Celebration, or it'll get released to like a private, not a private screening, but kind of like they do at some Comic-Con events where it's not open to the public.
Oh, okay.
At Star Wars Celebration, and then get it released on Infinity or on Endgame.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. The official trailer being an Endgame, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you. So there's some teases, from some set photos. Star Wars Episode 9 has a snowy planet. Are you shocked?
Shocked? No, not at all.
We've had
because
snowy planets a lot.
Well, not only that, but Star Wars it's so funny. Star Wars loves having planets that are all one thing,
Right.
right? And I'm sure it really helps with production design.
Well, sure.
Where you don't have very, I mean, you've got a lava planet, you've got a snow planet, you've got a desert planet. When you don't have to change environments within a planet, it makes it a lot easier.
Right.
So no, of course not. I mean, I think it would be more exciting if we find out it's Hoth, but it could,
Yes. That would be amazing.
but it could be. Why am I drawing a blank? The one at the end of
not Scarif, but the one. Well, that one blew up. The one that had snow on it. The one with
no in SWTOR.
Star Killer.
No, starts with an I.
SWTOR. Illith. No, not Illith.
Ilum.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to bring something from the EU. Ilum would be badass. I can't imagine them doing that, but man, that'd be freaking cool.
I know. I mean, and because there's really no major story stuff except for the Gree that have to do with Ilum, but it's such a disparate time sequence that you could just have it be the same planet and just things have changed.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Well, we'll have to see. I can't imagine them going back to Hoth for any reason. I imagine it would be a brand new planet, or Ilum or something from the EU would be kind of cool too. But I don't know. We'd have to find a list of all the snow planets that have been mentioned in all the EU and stuff, and start picking them off, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing that. That sounds like a lot of work.
No, not at all. That's a lot of work.
All right, man. So I really like this story. Anthony Daniels, obviously, he posted on the Twitter that it was his last day filming for episode 9. And this is monumental, obviously, because he is one of the only characters, if not the only character, besides C-3PO, not C-3PO, R2-D2, who's been in all the original 9 movies. So it's kind of a heartfelt goodbye, right?
Yeah, I mean, character-wise. I mean, actor-wise, I mean, I believe Kenny Baker's already passed away, so he will be the only person, unless Peter Mayhew has a bit part in it. But I think they've fully moved on to the newer Chewbacca's and all.
Right, and I don't think what's his name has not been in all of. He's been in all of them as different characters. A lot of them as different characters, but not all of them. His name just flew out of my head. He played Willow.
Oh, Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Thank you. Phew. But yeah, he's played different characters. He's been in a lot of the movies, but I think C-3PO has been, and not only that, I mean, Anthony Daniels has been in the animated series and all this other stuff too. So, I mean,
exactly. And the fact that this is going to be the end of the Skywalker saga, and, he was built by Anakin. So it's the one thing people keep forgetting from Phantom Menace is that whenever he says thank the maker, he's thanking Vader, basically.
Well, he is, but also, like, that doesn't mean it's the end of him.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
but it's important to have him be at least a little bit part of the storyline.
Exactly. And what is he? He's got to be in his almost 70 now, right? 70s.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just gonna read what he put on Twitter. He said, and I love his Twitter handle. He said @Daniels3PO. Today was 3PO's last on episode 9. He's sad, so am I. But we're so proud to have worked with such a lovely, talented cast and crew, led by JJ and Kathy. I'll miss everyone, but I'm glad to know that we've been making something exceptional together to share with the waiting world. So,
awesome,
really awesome. And I'm sure he will be conventions and everything else, but there's something to be said for being in every single Star Wars movie. I mean, it's something iconic that no one else will be able to say that, really. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Richard E. Grant. Do you know this guy, Richard E. Grant?
Oh yeah, he's been an actor for decades.
Well, yeah, but I guess I'm having a hard time placing him. But he did some teasing about a role he's going to be in episode 9. But I'm not sure what he.
A lot of people were saying that. A lot of people were saying originally that he might be.
What does it say? It says, oh, I see. It says, seemed like the perfect chance. Hold on. Oh, Grand Admiral Thrawn. is what they're assuming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's already been debunked for a while now.
And he even says, I'm not playing the Star Wars character you just mentioned, but I'm not allowed to tell you anything, otherwise I'd be fired. So, God, if Thrawn was in Episode 9, I would literally never leave that movie theater. I would just be like, if you play that, you just got to play the movie again. I would lose it. I would lose it. Anyway.
Yeah, hang on just a second. I'm going to tell you where you would know Richard E. Grant from.
Okay.
He was in Logan, but you wouldn't know. Yeah, he played Dr. Rice, but that's not where you would know him from. Let's see. He played the Great Intelligence in Doctor Who.
Oh, I know who he is.
He was in.
There's something else he was in. You're right. I'm just going through.
The first thing I remember seeing him in was L.A. Story from the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, I know he's in something that Garfield. Anyway, Doctor Who. Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, the name sounded familiar, but I was just trying to figure out if he'd been in something that I had known. But I'm sure he has been, but I just wasn't paying much attention, obviously. So,
right.
Anyway, dude. So Disney Plus, do you want to do this?
I do. Hang on, my cat's being a little bastard. Give me a second. Are you gonna chill? Can you stop being weird? Please, thank you.
Should tell you, tell you what Dag did the other night. Oh my God, I can't even tell you.
What did you do?
Animals are annoying. Well, it's a whole thing. It was on Super Bowl, but I'll tell you later. All right, so Disney Plus live action, Mandalorian.
Yeah, so Mandalorian. Of course, we're getting more and more news because production is wrapping up soon, and so all that fun stuff. But they added the stunt coordinator for Batman v Superman.
So I like to think that this means it's going to be pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome. I just hope somebody doesn't say Martha.
I hope they do. I hope at least 8 characters are named Martha. Okay, so Galaxy's Edge, and this is maybe this will be the time I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix my mic. It keeps going down. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead. You're going to say it.
I'm going to say it. So, speaking of Galaxy's Edge, actually, I think I mentioned it last time we recorded. For my 40th, I'm going to go to Disneyland. Did I tell you that?
No.
Okay. So, I've been trying to figure out, like, what I want to do for my 40th birthday. And I'm like, well, I really want to... I don't want to do a big party. I don't want to, like, have my wife, like, this pressure of, like, some surprise thing or something. I just want to be somewhere I want to be, right? So what I'm thinking of doing, and right now this is, we're pretty close to booking the whole thing, but we're going to go down for the weekend. Spring break coordinates with my birthday this year. So
interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to go down that weekend and play some golf, and then we're going to fly out Sunday and then do a few days in Disneyland. And I think Iverson and those guys might be down there too at the same time. They were thinking about going then too. But through Costco Travel, dude, the prices are insanely interesting.
Really?
To the point to where, like, it's insane that I haven't done this before. But that said, I'm going before Galaxy's Edge opens on purpose.
Yeah, because Galaxy's Edge doesn't open until May, right?
It doesn't open until summer. I don't know. I think they're saying June. The last I heard was June. But that said, we're thinking about going in the winter time, maybe. Around Christmassy time, and checking it out then with my family. But for my birthday, I think I want to just be in Disneyland, dude. So we're flying out on the 7th, I think, and then staying and coming back on, like, I think the 11th, I think. So
you know what I really think we should do.
What should we do?
Is coordinate with everybody that's going to Comic-Con
Mm-hmm.
and have them stay through Tuesday instead of flying out Sunday.
Oh, that's a
And then
good
on
idea.
Monday, we just take a road trip up and everybody go to Galaxy's Edge together on Monday.
That's a brilliant idea.
Isn't it? It's
Mhm.
it's like a 90-minute drive.
Huh. I shall ponder that, sir. That's an amazing
Actually, we don't
idea.
even have to. We don't even have to drive. We could jump on the train because the train goes right to the Anaheim Stadium and just Uber over.
I like all the things you're saying. But we are doing a podcast, so let's finish this. But let's definitely put a pin in that. But speaking of, the reason I brought this up is because Galaxy's Edge is open in the summer, and some more details to improve the park ahead of Galaxy's Edge opening. And I've been listening to a lot of Disney Dish podcasts. They're down there talking about this stuff too. Excuse me. But what I like is that they are basically a bunch of things to like just increase flow, right?
Okay, yeah.
So, for example, on Main Street, the curbs are being enhanced to slow inclines to help improve access when guests first enter. They're in Fantasyland. They're reconfiguring the guest queues for Matterhorn bobsleds. And the reason they're doing this stuff, and I thought this was really interesting that the other podcast mentioned, what they're doing is making it so, if you think about it, dude, if there are people queuing up waiting for a part of the park that's not open, or if they're gonna need somewhere to go, right, and they're gonna
Yes.
dump another place at the park, right? So throughout Disneyland Park, this is a quote from the article. It says, throughout Disneyland Park, the location of the planters and outdoor vending carts are being adjusted to make room for additional walking space. And new, because they're expecting, seriously, dude, they're calling it Project Stardust. And they're really expecting a huge uptick, obviously, in people being in the park. So they got to make sure people can be
I'm
able
sure.
to
Yeah.
move through there. You know what I mean? So I think
Exactly.
this is really, really, really interesting to me. So, any thoughts on this?
Um. No, I think that's great. Um. No, I really have no thoughts on it. I was thinking, well, they could always think about opening up a second entrance at the rear of the park,
Mm-hmm.
but that would just logistically cause a whole bunch of other issues. So,
And I think they have three entrances. There's going to be three entrances in
Into the
Disneyland,
land.
into the land. I don't know there. As far as I know, only the one in Frontierland is going to be open to start with. And they're gonna have the other one as an exit and see how it goes. That's from what I'm hearing.
I'm guessing the other one is going to be where the Toontown entrance is right now.
Yeah, so there's that one, and then the other. I think that's gonna be the second entrance once they open it, and then the exit slash entrance eventually is gonna be out on the Critter Country side, over by on the far side by the Country Bear restaurant.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really interesting that you're talking about that because right now the only thing that actually goes on the backside of Rivers of America that far is the train.
Right.
And there's really not a lot of land over there. So they really either had to fill in part of Rivers of America to get some land over, or they had to expand the berm a little bit to go around there.
I'm pretty sure it's the latter, and I think that's why all that stuff was closed for so long. And I have a couple pictures from when I was there last, where I was actually standing. There's the walkway on the Rivers of America to the right. If you're standing looking at Country Bear restaurant, and it's on your left, and there's that walkway,
Right.
and the
Yes.
river's on the right. If you look straight ahead, you can see Star Wars Land out there. And there's a whole walkway thing, and I think that's where they're focusing on going.
Well, I think it's really important because that's the one part in the land that just made no flow sense because
Exactly.
in the entire park, it's the only land. I'm talking about Critter Country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, besides Toontown, but Toontown was a totally different design. But it was only one way in and out.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you went to Splash Mountain, you had to go all the way down to the entrance to Splash Mountain.
Right.
And the exit, and then you had to go all the way back up that hill, which is totally fine. But if you're dealing with larger crowd sizes and everything, you would want to have a back exit out of there towards a different land.
Right.
And if they're doing that for Star Wars, or for Star Wars Land, it's definitely going to help with flow.
And it's frustrating too because I love that section of the park, but when you get back there and like there's a parade and Fantasmic is going, for example. Right.
Yeah, you're committed to being back there.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, we can hit Splash Mountain because there's no wait. and Phantasmic's going on. Okay, cool. But getting back is the biggest pain in the ass that it could possibly be because you have to wade through all of that traffic to get back. So I think that would open up the park quite a bit. But at the same time, I don't know what that's gonna look like when Galaxy's Edge first opens. So, but we'll see. I'm really excited to see how they end up doing it. I know it's gonna be crazy in the start, and I just want to see it from the outside, and then I want to go a few months later and check it out. So that's where I'm at right now. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, buddy. So we've got Theme Park receives its own comic series. There's gonna be a Galaxy's Edge comic series that's coming out as well, which I think
makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure it's going to tie in with the Thrawn Alliance book.
Yeah, which the timing I think is right on that. And I don't know if we have a date on this one yet. I don't see a date on this, but it says Galaxy's Edge opens. Oh, it just talks about when it's going to be opening. Okay, so I don't know when the comic's coming out, but. And then I thought this was a cool way to end merchandise for the Star Wars section is J.J. Abrams is getting his own Funko Pop, dude.
That's awesome.
And I think it's amazing. He's wearing that blue shirt, jeans, and he has his arms crossed, the glasses. I think it's sick. Super cool.
Yeah, what I think is kind of weird about those. It's actually joining a line of directors that they've already done, but. James Wan, who did Aquaman, which is fine, but he also did the Saw movies. He got one before J.J. Abrams did. So I wonder if it was a license issue as opposed to. So, yeah, so that would be kind of. But I do like the blue shirt and everything. It's great.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Should we get to the last section of our show?
Absolutely.
See that transition? That was smooth. All right, man. We're at the usual roundup. So it looks like, speaking of Disney, segue, Zootopia themed land is headed to Shanghai Disneyland. What do you think of this? I just heard about this on another show earlier.
Great. I mean, I hear the movie's fantastic. I haven't watched it yet, but I do know it made a lot more movie in Asia than it did here. Really quick, by the way, I did just look through that. The comic series is coming out in April.
Nice. Wait, you didn't see Zootopia?
No, I know the characters mostly from the game that I mentioned during our top 10 last week,
right?
Which was Disney Heroes Battle.
Yeah, I've been playing that actually. It's been kind of fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, text me what server you're on, and if we're on the same server, then we're gonna have to meet up somewhere.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So, anyways, no, but I really do want to see it. I just haven't made the time for it yet.
Well, what's interesting is they were talking about how, and I heard this on the other podcast I was talking about earlier, but there was talk of the Zootopia land going to Animal Kingdom in Disney World, and now I guess Shanghai's picking it up.
I think Shanghai makes more sense. With Animal Kingdom, yeah, the thing with Animal Kingdom is it's taking a land which is designed to embrace the nature and the majesty of animals, and including, speaking animals in there. That's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that's a little strange, but myself. So let's get into the Crossing the Streams section. This is our streaming service section. You want to talk about this first one?
Yeah. So CBS All Access is we talked about it during trailer time. That Jordan Peele's new iteration of The Twilight Zone is going to be premiering on CBS All Access. That'll be April 1st.
And I guess he's producing it and hosting it, right? I don't think he's not doing any of the writing and stuff as far as I know.
I don't know if he's doing any writing, but I do know he's producing and hosting.
Yeah, which is, I think, pretty cool, considering what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And something else, CBS.
Yeah, so it's just been announced that Stephen King, The Stand, is being turned into a TV series.
And they've been talking about this for a while. I mean, there's the miniseries from, the 80s? 90s?
I think it was early 90s.
Early 90s, they did the miniseries, The Stand. I think it's a good thing. Obviously, all of Stephen King's things are going to be picked up sooner rather than later anyway. But I'm woefully behind on all things. I wish I could actually watch TV, but I feel like I can't watch TV anymore. I don't know why. But I'm really interested in The Stand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's about his writing style, but I've never been able to get into his books really.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the stories, and so I do like the movies and stuff.
Definitely. What else we got?
So the Disney Plus service is there's some news of Bob Iger came out on their investors call last week that we're going to be talking some other news a little bit later, but um, he actually said that Disney isn't going to be putting just Disney content on the Disney streaming service. They're going to license other stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Which isn't unheard of, because before they got control of them, they licensed Star Wars for Star Tours. They licensed Indiana Jones for the Indiana Jones ride. So they already have a history of licensing stuff for their own use.
Right.
Which is funny because they don't like licensing their own stuff out.
Well, and they don't, but also like think of all the partnerships over the decades too, of like just advertisers and stuff like that, like the crossover and stuff. I think that's interesting. So,
well, I mean, if it wasn't for ABC picking up the Wonderful World of Disney and shows like that, they wouldn't have made it through some of their tough times.
Right.
For Disneyland, but the big thing here is that the first licensed work that they're picking up is called The Grim Legacy. It's based on a series of young adult books. So we'll see how it is.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else we got here? Netflix? Oh, this. Okay, so what do you think of this?
I'm excited about this one.
So Chris Evans and Tom Holland are starring in a Netflix serial killer drama called The Devil All the Time. That sounds phenomenal.
For those of you who know me and talk about what podcasts we listen to and stuff, I'm a big fan of like true crime serial killer stuff, and so this will be really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I still haven't watched I Am the Night yet, which I need to watch the first 2 episodes of that, but I want to watch that. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Sounds good, dude. And I'm excited to see Chris Evans and even Tom Holland, man. I mean, the two of them, they're great in their Marvel roles, but like, I mean, Netflix is right. Pick them up and put them in a drama and see how they do. And I think they'll be great. And I'm looking forward to that.
I know he's done other stuff, but you know what the last non-Marvel or non-superhero movie that I remember Chris Evans being in is? Not another teen movie.
Oh my God, you're right. Wow.
Because he's been in Marvel for a decade
Forever,
now.
Yeah.
And, he was in the Fantastic Four 2 movies before that.
Right.
So I'm like, I mean, I know he had to have done stuff in between, but I'm just drawing a blank. I can't think of anything he's been in.
Well, here we are. Speaking of what we've been in, what have you been watching, dude?
I really, I watch the TV shows that I try to like watch every week. So like I've been catching up on, Drunk History and Adam Ruins Everything and stuff like that. A lot of shows have been on their early spring or their late winter hiatus. They're starting to come back now, so I'll be watching those more. But I've basically been trying to catch up on some Oscar-nominated stuff.
Nice.
So I watched RBG, which is the documentary about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I heard that
and
was
I just watched. It is really good, and I just watched Bohemian Rhapsody a couple of minutes ago.
I really want to see that movie.
It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really want to see that. I haven't, like I said, I've been behind on TV shows, and the wife and I, we just suck right now as far as this. We've been really busy. So I've been watching a lot of stuff by myself. I started The Punisher on Netflix, which
cool,
which I love, and Preacher a little bit, but I'd like to go back to that. We almost have caught up on The Good Place, which we just love. We love that show.
So do I. I still have not started season 3 yet.
Oh, it's great. We've been really digging it. We are, I think, only 1 episode behind right now. And with the kids though, we found a series that we've been watching that just the kids have loved. It's called obviously Night at the Museum, which we've watched the first 2 of, and the kids love that movie.
Yeah, the movies are great. Yeah. And actually, it's funny. The guy who plays the Pharaoh is the guy who plays Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, he does, and he's great. So yeah, we've been watching Night at the Museum. We watched the first 2. We're gonna watch the 3rd one, hopefully probably this week. And I've been watching this series on Netflix called Civilizations, which is a documentary series that basically talks about art and how it's evolved in throughout the millennia. And it's really, 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 really cool because they're like, okay, the Renaissance, and they just focus on the artists, and they go to these places and they show you these amazing structures that people did art in, and it's just phenomenal to think that something like that exists and I haven't seen it, and I just think it's amazing. So
Well,
anyway,
that's cool.
really, really cool.
Actually, speaking of documentaries, I did watch the two Fire Festival documentaries. The one
Festival.
on, yeah, you remember the Fire Festival that was supposed to happen a couple years ago that was promoted by Ja Rule in the Bahamas, and it being, well, there's a documentary that came out on Netflix and another one that came out on Hulu
I
a
almost
couple weeks
watched
ago.
that the other night, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to see this failure right now, but
I watched them, and they're both really good. I watched them with my sister. For those of you who are in the Midwest or know what's going on, we had a polar vortex freeze a couple days ago, where it got to. I mean,
gnarly.
we got lucky here in St. Louis. It's about 10 below. But actually, I don't know if you remember Jen from Applebee's we used to work with. She lives up in Michigan now, and it got to 50 below where she lives.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, so that's just ridiculous. So, because of that, because I live in an RV, so not a lot of insulation. My sister and her wife invited me over to their apartment, and so I took my cat discus over and spent a couple nights over there. And so she and I watched both Fire Festivals documentaries, and she actually liked the Netflix one. I liked the Hulu one better. So yeah, watch them both and tell me what you think.
Okay.
But not only that, but you're a big fan of the Decade series documentaries. Well, the Netflix just came out with the 2000s.
Yeah.
Which is a 7-part series, and I watched all of that, and that was all really good.
So is that the same one? Because the 2000s have been out, and I was watching it on something else. But so Netflix has it. I wonder if it's the same one. Because there's 2 different ones that have been running. Anyway, I'll check it out for sure. Because I love
this. Yeah, this one I think is produced by Tom Hanks.
Okay, I'm in. The Tom Hanks ones are my favorite.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right, dude. So real reviews.
Yeah. So we have some news. Let's do the casting news first. Okay. So why don't you say that one?
Oh, Rosario Dawson is cast in Zombieland 2. I didn't see the first Zombieland, did you?
Oh, phenomenal. Dude, you have to watch it. It's so funny. Not only is it's great because it has Matthew McConaughey, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin are the 4 main characters. But it even has Amber Heard, who just played Mira in Aquaman.
Right.
She has a very small part in the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. But you know that whole thing going around right now, but the 10-year challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you post a picture. Well, they did that. They decided to release their poster that way because they showed 2009 with the original poster, then the new poster 2019, and so it's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
And I love Rosario Dawson, dude. She's
who doesn't?
She's phenomenal. So good. So yeah, I might have to check that out. So some TV news.
Yeah, so CW came through and announced all of their renewals. And basically everything you think would get renewed got renewed. So all of the
CW stuff.
All the Berlanti stuff got renewed, even Black Lightning. And the big thing is that Legends of Tomorrow got picked up, which is much earlier than it normally does. So that means they're having more faith in it, which is great.
Yeah, they usually hold off on that one because of how much it costs. But
exactly. So they went ahead and gave it an order. Also, Riverdale and Supernatural both got picked up.
Very nice. Very cool. All right, man.
Fuller House has been picked up, and they're going to be having their last season. So they're going to be having an upcoming season 5, and that'll be done.
Can I just say that I'm excited about that? I've watched all the Fuller House. My kids and my family loves that stuff, dude. It is so awesome. Like, I can't tell you how terrible it is and awesome it is at the same time. Like, if you were a Full House fan back in the day, and I've said this before, if you're a Full House fan back in the day, Fuller House is exactly the same, but like with the kids as the adults, and then the parents come back, and it's just amazing. It's just so good. I love it.
Exactly. I watched it. It's entertaining. It's the same for the same people that would have liked Girl Meets World.
Yeah, I mean it's not good, but I love it. I love it. I mean, and I love Girl Meets World. So judge me. I don't care.
I judge you all the time. All right. So tell me about this Ted Bundy thing. Well, we actually have there's in the whole zeitgeist of pop culture. There's a whole bunch of Ted Bundy stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Because there's a new Netflix series called Conversations with a Killer, and it's the interview tapes. It talks about the interview tapes with Ted Bundy.
Yeah. So I've heard nothing but good things about the series, and I hear it's great, and I would actually like to check it out myself, but I have to be in the mood for that kind of stuff. That said, there was a bunch of people online, I guess, saying like how hot he was, and like really like making it creepy to the point to where like, oh man, like this guy is so amazing, like and people are forgetting like they're watching this thing, but like he's a serial killer. He's a terrible person.
He
And
is, and well, was, but yeah,
well, yeah, but that said, but that said, like Netflix actually had to come out and say, "Okay, can you please stop with that?" Like they basically said, "Please stop saying that we put the show out for this reason, not to bring attention to him in a sexual way." You know what I mean? Because that's the worst thing you can do. That makes
exactly.
sense.
The couple things about it though is there has been a new film um about Ted Bundy that has been produced, and it got picked up by Netflix. Is going to be putting it out,
Mm,
and it's with Zac Efron as Ted Bundy. Now, the reason why you're getting somebody like Zac Efron to play him is, objectively, he was a handsome man. I mean,
right.
but that was the thing that was part of his charm. He was able to pick up college co-eds
Of course.
because he was that just affable, good-looking man that you would see in the neighborhood. And actually, if you're a big fan of Mark Harmon from like NCIS and stuff, one of his first roles back in the early '80s he was in a TV movie. I think it was a 2-part miniseries called "The Stranger in My Neighborhood" or "The Stranger Next Door" or something like that.
Yeah.
And he played Ted Bundy. And
Oh
Mark
my
Harmon's
God.
an attractive man too. I mean, it's just that is what I mean. You just can't get by. That's part of his thing. Is he had this charm.
Right.
And so it's understandable that people would think this way, but it is also important you have to tell the whole story.
Well, you also have to
But
understand that like that's not the point of the putting the content out there. You
no,
don't want
no,
to,
no, no, no.
and that kind of thing. And I think that Netflix was trying to differentiate, like really separate themselves from what people were saying and the point of the content. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But you also have to remember that in this, I know you're not a huge fan of true crime. I mean, I am, but it's a there's this whole subculture within the true crime thing where people do become infatuated with these people.
No, I
I mean, I
understand.
can't tell you how many people that there are serial killers in prison that get just marriage proposals like crazy through the mail
Right.
because from people that they don't even know.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. If I'm being honest,
No, it's just weird.
it is just weird. But not trying to say that they're weird, but they're weird. But anyway, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. So it was also brought out this week that Archer season 10, which is going to be the final season,
Yep.
is going to be coming out in April, which makes sense because that's when last season's Danger Island came out.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how this goes. This one's supposed to take place on a spaceship called the USS Vegas. And if you remember the last episode of last season, the end of the episode ends up with Archer waking up from a cryogenic sleep on a ship.
Right. I'm
Now,
really excited about anything that has to do with Archer.
yeah, I'm really wondering where they're going with this. So, because you remember, all these past few seasons have been really high concept, and it's all been because Archer's been in a coma since the end of season 7. And
I'm
so,
hoping they
or
bring it
beginning
back,
of season-
honestly. You know?
Well, what I'm thinking this is that we find out that everything since season 1 has been happening while he's been under cryogenic sleep.
That'd be funny.
And it just turns out the first major seasons all happened to do with the spy agency, and then it went on to everything else, but it all happened in his cryogenic sleep. And so now when he wakes up on the spaceship, we're going to find out what the real relationships are and not just Archer's warped dream versions are.
Right. I'm down with that, dude. I love it. I hope you're right.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. All
All
right,
right.
man.
Also, looks like ABC's open to doing a reboot of Lost. What do you think of that?
I saw this today, and I immediately I was of two minds. One, I said, "Oh, Lost," and then I said, "Oh, Lost." So so I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, I enjoyed the show. I don't, obviously the ending in the last season or two were a little interesting, but I actually really enjoyed the show, and it was one of the early show series, TV shows that I watched with the wife. Um,
Yeah,
that's that said, do we have to reboot everything?
that's a good question. But the thing is, I hope it is a reboot and not a remake.
Yeah,
I just want them to go off on a different place in the same universe. So they could always bring back guest stars if you
right.
wanted to. That would be, I think, the way to go. I'm one of the few people. I enjoyed the finale.
Mm-hmm.
I think it paid off fine, so I'm okay with it.
No, it was fine for me. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of controversy around it. I'm an easy sell, dude. I actually had no
Well,
real
you're just
issues.
easy overall.
Yeah, I am easy, and I had no problem really with Lost. I really enjoyed. I like episodic television, and I like seeing how things end up. And I mean, I've been watching. I mean, how many seasons of Doctor Who have I watched? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well, I like big butts.
yeah, and I don't like to lie about it either. But my thing is too, like, I mean, I watch things like Scrubs and Parks and Rec and The Office, and then when you get into dramas, I mean, the stuff we've watched, man, I like it a lot, and I just don't want them to. I don't want them to. I don't want it to be more of the same. I would like it to, because I mean, you can't the thing is, you can't reboot Lost, because part of the appeal of Lost was the fact that you were trying to figure out the world as you went. Like,
Right.
if you reboot it, like, you have to tell a new story, because otherwise you're like, well, we know what's gonna go, we know what's happening, so why bother telling the story? You know what I mean?
If they, yeah, what I would do is, like I said, I hate the word reboot because reboot imagines that something is dead, right?
Right.
What I would do is just tell a different story within the universe. Like, what if it went back and like the entire series was about the Dharma Initiative?
Yeah.
The entire thing takes place back in the 70s. That would be kind of cool. Or what if it was back on the island when the man in the black and the man in the white, like back then, like
Yeah.
when they were first on the island, like really delve into those stories. That would be kind of interesting.
No, I agree. And I would rather see that than some sort of reimagining of what we already saw. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, all right. So we got some Marvel news, man. Then I think we're going to get pretty close to getting out of here.
Sounds good. All right, you go ahead and start.
All right. So Sean Gunn assures fans that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is still getting made. And this is obviously James Gunn's brother. It's
Right,
still,
he's the one that ended up with the head fin at the end.
yeah, and I didn't realize that was him actually until I read the story. I was like, oh, that is him. That's amazing. So he played. The name just flew out of my head. I love that character, Craggle. What was it? Kraglin, I think is what it was.
I'm not sure. I'll look it up while you keep talking.
No, I'm trying to find it right now. It's right here. But anyway, so he played the brother, and no, he is James Gunn's brother, and he's assuring that it's going to happen. But and the reason I put this story in here, man, is I'm concerned because there was the petition for James Gunn when he was gone. I just don't want them to. I'm afraid when they say, okay, we're pulling the trigger on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right? Is everybody going to be there? Are there going to be holdouts? That's my bigger concern, honestly. Any thoughts?
Well, when it comes to main cast, you're not going to get holdout because they're all under contract. They're gonna have to comply.
So are they contracted for the third movie already? That's my
question.
question.
Yeah. Everybody with you're not necessarily committed to a particular movie. You're committed to a certain number of movies.
Okay. I get it.
And so
it doesn't really matter who's running the show. It just you have to do those movies.
Exactly.
Okay. That was more my bigger concern with this whole thing. But okay, so I mean it's on hold, but it'll happen hopefully eventually.
Yeah, and actually I just looked at this article. It doesn't actually say who his character is.
Yeah, and I think it's
just bad writing.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is. I want to say Kraglin, but maybe I'm wrong. So Disney's also seeking to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah,
what is this?
Well, you just got to remember now that the Disney Fox deal is finally going to be coming to fruition. all the decisions that Fox was having to deal with is now going to be under Disney's purview. So that means they're going to have to decide if they want to replace Hugh Jackman, whether they want to make Gambit, whether they want to make X-Force,
Right, that's true.
whether they want to make Deadpool R-rated or what they want to do. And that's basically all these articles we came out with last week has basically just said, yeah, all those are in our court now. So we're going to have to make those decisions. And it's really going to be Kevin Feige with Iger backing him up. But yeah, it's all going to be Feige deciding, who do they replace Hugh Jackman with if they do a new version of Wolverine, where they make Gambit or X-Force and also Deadpool stuff. So it's now it's coming down to the wire where Disney's going to have control, and so we should start seeing some decisions made fairly soon.
All right, man. Well,
I don't know if you remember last year we talked about that Marvel was looking at possibly doing a different TV series at ABC, and it was all going to be based around female superheroes, and it was going to be like She-Hulk and
yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, so they're not going to pick it up.
Oh.
So they haven't even filmed a pilot for it. They just, they didn't take it past the idea stage. And it's not saying that they won't do something. It's just, I think it's a better idea. If you don't have the right work for the concept, then, don't do it, because you don't want to kill whatever pop culture cachet those characters already have.
Right.
If you do something bad like the Inhumans, they're never going to be able to touch the Inhumans again on a pop culture scale.
True.
So I think they learned their lesson from that, and they said, okay, well, we just don't have the right work for this, so let's just wait on them.
All right, I can see that. And what's next? What else we got?
That's it, just convention stuff.
All right, convention stuff, dude. So some of us called The Usual Podcast got approved for press again.
Woohoo!
Cheers all around. Woo! It's actually really exciting, only in that I was concerned with the process now, considering how big the convention is. Yeah, because
it's a new process, yeah.
And every 2 years you have to renew your credentials, and a lot of our podcast friends were not approved last run around, and I was concerned. And although we had badges, which we reported a few months ago, we have badges, but we'll return those, and because we have our press passes. But sadly, that means we can't get other people in with us as well. So
right.
it's just gonna be the two of us, sadly. But yeah, man. I mean, but we're still planning on Pucked 4.
Yeah, we are.
And I am already starting to plan that and figuring out where we're gonna stay, what we're doing, and all that. And it's February now. So Puck 4 is happening. I'm going to announce now. Go ahead and throw out your T-shirt contest deals, and we'll just start that now, sooner rather than later, right? And
actually, I have a challenge to people.
Okay.
I would like to see somebody come up with a shirt design for Puck 4 that has some relation to another fourth movie in a franchise, right? So... like to come up with a logo that has to do with like Superman 4, or has to do with Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, or has to do with Rocky 4, or
I love it, dude. That's good.
Or come up with multiple designs, and
Star
we can
Wars
just sell multiple shirts.
4, that kind of thing. That's
exactly,
badass, dude. I think that's a great idea. I love it.
And we'll call it Puck Episode 4, A New Shot.
Well done, sir. So speaking of housing, early bird sales are up. WonderCon is happening next month. Hotels are available for that. Early bird sales for hotels are up. I would like to avoid that. We are looking into getting a big old house for everybody. And I'm happy to sleep in a corner of a place.
I think ultimately that would end up being cheaper in the long run.
It will be.
Plus, it'd be much more fun.
It'd be way more fun. It was heartbreaking kind of leaving the folks that did have a big house last time and going back to our little tiny hotel room. So I think that's our goal right now, and we're working on it. And we'll keep you posted. But definitely Puck 4 is happening. We're going to do it at Mission Brewing Company. I think in the back of the in their loading dock, I think is the best place to do it. And I'm going to reach out.
That was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Donna again and see if she's down with that again. So that was a lot of fun for me, for all of us. I think it worked out really well. So, all right, man. So we're in the planning stages of a lot of things. We are still doing the thing. I know we're far apart from each other now, man, but I'm glad we're still doing this, and we're gonna get some guests on for next week, I think. So,
Awesome.
that's my goal. So, anything else, my friend?
No, but just make sure whether you're in bitter cold or you're pouring rain or snow wherever you are, just make sure you keep having a fun.
Well, have a fun, and we'll see you all next week. Even though
Peace.
I didn't do the outro.
Oh, go do the out then.
I'll do
Well,
the
you
outro.
can.
I'll edit it anyway. So thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Spotify, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at Amro Griggs. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and Plex. So take the time, like us, share us, and tell your friends. A couple ways to support the show. audibletrial.com/usualpodcast. Get an audio book on us for free. I've been reading a ton of awesome stuff, and check out my Twitter for that. Teespring.com/stores/theusualpodcast. And the best way to support us, obviously, is patreon.com/usualpodcast. And you can give us $1 or $2 or more an episode. And actually, it's not really an episode. Well, yeah, give us $1 or $2 an episode, and we'll love it.
Yep.
And like it.
Word.
And whatever.
Right.
I might spice the other thing in there, but if not, what do you think we should do?
Make sure we have a fun.
Have a fun by the gods, and we'll see you all next week.
Peace.
It seemed redundant, but I might keep it all in and just for fun. But anyway.
See if anybody notices.
And nobody will notice, but it's fine. All right, buddy. Awesome. Good job. Let's stop the dealies. Stopping that. And I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks to everybody who's in the chat that didn't say anything. Thank you.